Just when the world thought the war was nearing its end, Ukraine shocked everyone with an operation so daring and precise, it could redefine the balance of power and possibly ignite a global catastrophe. And imagine over 40 Russian aircraft turned to fireballs in the skies in a single covert mission that took 546 days to plan. This is not a scene from a Hollywood war thriller. This is Operation Spiderweb, Ukraine's boldest move yet in its ongoing war with Russia. But was it a tactical triumph or the spark that could ignite World War III? At a moment when many believed the war was winding down, the unexpected struck, a devastating blow launched from the shadows. Spies, drones, and skies lit ablaze. In a move that stunned global observers, 40 Russian aircraft were reduced to ashes in a meticulously planned secret operation, one Ukraine had been orchestrating for 546 days. This immediately raised the most critical question: is this the spark that could ignite World War III? What we do know for certain is that Operation Spiderweb marks the most dangerous action Ukraine has taken to date. It looked as if the world was watching the prelude to a nuclear strike in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Over 40 Russian warplanes were turned into fireballs in an operation that will long be remembered. Not just because it took over a year and a half to plan, or because the drones infiltrated deep into Russia undetected, hitting Putin's forces hard. Not even because it came after an attempted assassination of Putin himself. Rather, what made it truly historic was the fact that, for the first time, Ukraine, with what appears to be the blessing of the US and Europe, struck one of the pillars of Russia's nuclear triad. That's the level of seriousness we're dealing with. Operation Spiderweb triggered immediate alarms in Germany, prompting urgent NATO alerts, with officials warning that Putin would not stay silent. So what exactly happened in this massive, stunning operation that could potentially break Putin's grip? According to Ukraine's Union news agency, Operation Spiderweb involved transporting vehicles into Russian territory, hiding them inside wooden structures mounted on trucks, and then using them to launch remote-controlled attacks. What you've just read is merely a glimpse of one of Ukraine's most daring drone operations in the war, one that involved a swarm of suicide drones. These drones struck air bases in 5 Russian regions: Murmansk, Irkutsk, Ivanovo, Ryazan, and Amur. While Russia claimed its air defenses intercepted attacks in Ivanovo and Ryazan, the damage appears to have been far more severe in Murmansk and Irkutsk, where drones launched from nearby areas ignited fires that engulfed dozens of aircraft. Although there were no reported military or civilian casualties, Russian authorities later claimed to have arrested several individuals involved in organizing the attacks. In Murmansk, drones were launched from a truck parked at a gas station near Olenogorsk Airport. According to the Telegram channel Baza, the truck's driver was detained. A similar method was used in Irkutsk, with drones launched from a vehicle in the Usolsky district. The strategic significance of these attacks is immense. One of the primary targets was Alenia Air Base in Murmansk, located 2,000 kilometers from Ukraine. This base hosts 2 22M3 and 2 95 bombers capable of delivering nuclear weapons. Another major target was Belaya Air Base in Irkutsk, about 4,700 kilometers from Ukraine, which also houses 2 95 and 2 160 bombers. Moscow later claimed its air defense forces intercepted and destroyed 53 Ukrainian drones across 4 Russian regions. They reported 34 drones over Kursk, 1 over Belgorod, 4 over Bryansk, and 1 over Oriol. However, Ukraine's security service, which officially claimed responsibility for Operation Spiderweb, stated that its agents, who launched the drones from hidden hangars, successfully destroyed up to 40 aircraft, including an A-50 reconnaissance aircraft worth an estimated $2 billion. Agence France Presse cited Ukrainian officials who estimated total damages in the billions of dollars, leading President Vladimir Zelensky to praise the mission as Ukraine's longest-range operation to date. He even revealed that the Ukrainian agents who took part in the mission were successfully exfiltrated from Russian territory afterward. In what appeared to be a deliberate provocation aimed at Vladimir Putin, Zelensky disclosed that planning for the operation took exactly 1 year, 6 months, and 9 days from conception to execution. Although one Ukrainian government official claimed that Ukraine had not informed the US beforehand, Many analysts and reports argue that it's nearly impossible that such a complex, large-scale operation occurred without American approval, especially since Zelensky personally oversaw it, along with security service head Vasyl Malyuk, according to Ukrinform. The operation resulted in the destruction of strategic Russian bombers at 4 bases: Belaya in Siberia, 4,700 kilometers from Ukraine; Diaghilevo, 700 kilometers; Olenya, 2,000 kilometers; Ivanovo, 900 kilometers. This means Ukraine's strike reached the deepest parts of Russian territory, deeper than any previous attack, crippling Russia's nuclear prestige and striking directly at Putin's image of invincibility. All of this happened while the U.S. administration, under Donald Trump, was pressuring both Putin and Zelensky to come to the negotiation table for a historic peace deal. According to reports, Zelensky and Trump believed this strike could give Ukraine the upper hand in upcoming negotiations. Moments before the attack, a Russian delegation led by presidential aide Vladimir Medinsky was on its way to Turkey. On the same day, June 1st, Zelensky confirmed via his Telegram channel that Ukraine was participating in peace talks and that Defense Minister Rustem Umerov would lead a delegation for a new round of negotiations at the Ottoman Palace, where the Russian and Ukrainian draft proposals were to be discussed. But the attack on one of Putin's nuclear triad pillars might change everything. What was intended by Zelensky and Trump as a pressure card to force Putin into concessions may now backfire. Instead of pushing for peace, Operation Spiderweb could escalate into a more widespread and brutal war, especially if Putin decides to retaliate with tactical nuclear weapons, which were humiliated by this operation, or strike back at NATO, whom he blames for supporting Ukraine's raid. And if that happens, then what was supposed to be the war-ending blow might actually unleash the war the whole world fears. Operation Spiderweb has redefined the rules of engagement in the Russia-Ukraine war. It's a masterstroke of planning, espionage, and high-tech warfare, but it may also be a step too far. As Ukraine celebrates a strategic victory, the world holds its breath. For if Putin views this as a direct attack on his nuclear deterrent, the next phase may not be limited to drones and air bases. It may involve weapons far more destructive. The line between calculated offense and global catastrophe has never been thinner.